Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today I'm proud to present the first episode of P-Valley on STARZ because I saw an advanced screening of the first episode. So this will be a spoiler review of Season 1, Episode 1. But before we get to all that, as always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video, share the video, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. I'd like to start off, as always, by thanking the commenters of our previous P-Valley videos. That would be Marco Martin, Nikki Live, Lenore, and Stacy Land. And we look forward to hearing your comments on this video and future videos. And again, if you want to join us for a review of any episode, just email us at the email address in the description box of this video, or hit us up on Twitter, because Dr. J is running our Twitter page, and we'll go through all that. So, yes. I paid to see an advanced copy of P-Valley, which actually officially airs on STARZ on July 12th, with 8 episodes in the season. I saw episode 1, and this would be my spoiler review of the episodes, as this initial episode kind of introduces us to, I guess, the main characters of this series, and we will go through each one of them. Okay, so the show, I guess, will be mainly centered on the character known as Autumn Night, which is actually her dancer name. I think her official name is actually Lakeisha Savage, which you see on an ID card when she fishes a suitcase out of a flood at the beginning of the show, and she opens up this purse, and it has a Houston, Texas driver's license with the name Lakeisha Savage. So I'm assuming that's her name. I'm assuming she's from Houston, and she is a survivor. So at the beginning of this episode, she's surviving some flood somewhere. I thought she was like in Katrina in Louisiana or something, but I looked it up, and in 2019, there was a flood in Houston. So maybe that's when this show is set. But anyway, she gets on a bus along with other people from Houston fleeing the flood area, and she happens to get off in the Mississippi Delta City, where she sees a purple light in the distance at night, and she walks to those lights, I guess, and that's how she ends up at the strip club called Pink, or Pank. I guess Pank is the proper way to pronounce it. And she has no money whatsoever, okay? So she decides to make some money by getting to the club. For some reason, she feels like this club and dancing is her only means of making money at this particular moment in her life. All right. But she wins Booty Night. It was amateur dancer night. And this is her first time dancing. So at the club, she comes up with the name Autumn Night, which for some reason everyone thinks is very poetic, and they keep on telling her that throughout the episode. But she gets up there, she wins amateur night. She wins $50 and a plate of hot food, and she needs both of them because she's broke and hungry. We find out as she's dancing that she, again, is also running from some man who was beating her, because as she was dancing, she was seeing flashbacks of a man who chased her down in a house, beat her, and then put a gun to her head, which is why she has bruises when she's on the bus traveling through the South and ends up in Mississippi. Again, as the showrunner said, this show would really be about the women and the pain that they go through and how they persevere through all these situations. So we better understand them as people, not just dancers, okay? But again, she wins the night. She's a new, younger, lighter-skinned dancer compared to all the other, women there. And therefore she makes an impression, okay? Which is, good for the owner and not good for the other dancers, particularly the lead dancer in this club, and that is Mercedes Sundays is her name. And she is the veteran star of Pink, as she started when she was 18. It's 7 years later, so she's 25, and she wants to retire. But she runs this club. I mean, bottom line, the DJ does what she tells him to do. The dancers do what she tells them to do, and that is because when she dances, everyone on Saturday night, all the people come in and they rain money on her and everybody else. And when the club's all over, she actually gives back to the rest of the staff, not just the Uncle Clifford as owning the club, as her rent is to work there, but she gives money to the bartender, she gives money to the DJ. So she really is center to this club. But at her age, she's like, it's time to get out the game. 25 is too old to be a dancer, I guess. She's looking into property. Someone named Sinclair texts her saying that he or she found a nice property she could look at. And she has a round life. The club is just one aspect of it. She's teaching her old high school dance team to perform so they can beat some rival school, I guess. But she's working into the community. But she's hardcore about her dancing. She's definitely a veteran. At one moment in the club, some guy's getting too handsy. She tells him to stop. He doesn't. She breaks a bottle and puts it to his neck and tells him to stop. Then Diamond, the bouncer, comes in, kicks the guy out. It turns out that Mercedes actually stole the man's wallet on Saturday night. On Sunday morning, she's in church with her mom, who's singing, and leading the church in the song. And she uses the man's wallet. Mercedes uses the man's wallet to give tithes and offering, because you got to get tithes and offering. They're not the same thing. Look it up. So anyway, she puts $100 of this man's money into the offering plate. She looks to her right, and there's the guy. He's sitting in the pew a couple of rows over, and she actually shows him his wallet that she's putting his money into the offering plate, which begs the question: how did he not know that his wallet was stolen, and was he gonna tell his spouse? Which I'm pretty sure he has. So I'm sure that would be an interesting conversation right there. Let's talk about her mother. Her mother is her pain. Like Mercedes is dealing with a very manipulative mother who uses the church to shame her daughter for what she does for a living, but steadily is asking for money. So that's a whole thing. So as Mercedes seems very strong and independent about herself in the club, she's really fighting, her mother and the shame that she's going through with that, and being manipulated by her mom. And she like breaks down and cries one night as she's leaving the club because her mom puts on this big show and guilts her to giving up some money. It turns out her mom, in fact, used to send her to dance for men when she was younger to pay for food. It's a very, very bad situation this woman grew up in, but she's trying to get past it. You know what I'm saying? And again, they're focusing on the backstory of these dancers. So you see that they're real people. Even her final dance scene in the episode when she's like climbing up a pole, it's interesting how they focused it on her mind. When you watch the episode, you'll see all of a sudden the sound goes from the crowd to her breathing, to her moving her body, like she's concentrating like an athlete would, And the creator of the show said that she admired the dancers as being athletes, you know what I'm saying, and professionals at what they do. And that scene kind of showed you the concentration that Mercedes was putting into not killing herself and falling that far, off the pole and that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting the way they kind of did the show. I've never seen that in other, I didn't see that in Hustlers or the Players Club back in the day. So this really is taking a unique look at that. So you got Autumn Night, new to the club. You got Mercedes running the club, and then you got Miss Mississippi, and she is probably the most tragic case of a character so far in this show. She just came off maternity leave. She just had a baby. And she has actually 2 kids with this man who you don't meet yet, you don't see yet, but the man is beating her like every night. So she's coming to the club with bruises on her neck, on her body. At one night, she actually has to take her baby to the club while she's dancing. And then at some point, she's breastfeeding the baby in between dances, you know what I'm saying? And then the whole club comes together to help her take care of the baby. So it really is like a family environment. I thought that was kind of cool. They kind of showed the family environment. So the only bouncer in this entire club is Diamond. And Diamond is Benny from the Have and Have Nots, aka Drake. As far as I'm concerned, one day he will play Drake in a biopic on BET or Lifetime. One of those is gonna happen, all right? But anyway, so he's the bouncer of the club, ex-Marine. He carries a gun, a 9mm on his waist, but he's also the doorman. He's the doorman, he's the bouncer. I'm like, he got too many things going on. It's a pretty good sized club with a lot of different VIP rooms and stuff, and somehow he has to manage all this crap. They need to hire more security. It can't just be Benny, okay? Diamond. It can't just be him, all right? That's not a good business model. And then Mercedes, Sundays as the lead dancer, she's walking out, in her stripper outfit with like 2 bags of money by herself. Okay, when her mom comes up and, tricks her into giving her some money, but she could have got robbed, she could have got kidnapped. They need better security at this place is what I'm saying. Anyway, so Diamond, he really looks after for the girls. Like he defends Autumn when some customers get too touchy with her. He beats them up, puts them out. And he loves Miss Mississippi. He really does care for her. He meets her as she's breastfeeding her child in between dances, and they have a talk. And you can tell that he really feels for her. You know what I'm saying? He offers to hurt and or kill her man, because she's like, you've been to war, I guess. And she says, you don't need another death on your conscience. And his response is, I would rather have his death on my, her boyfriend's death on his conscience and not her death. Because he can see that this is not gonna end well. For Mississippi. So that's probably going to be a love story that's going to develop. I hope so. Anyway, so Diamond ends up helping taking care of Mississippi's baby while she goes dance. So again, it's a family environment in that sense. Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford is the owner and the manager of Pink as a club. She really takes care of the ladies there. She's kind of like a mama bear and protector, type of thing. But she is hard about the money. The club is losing money, okay? Why? Because Uncle Clifford has to pay the local sheriff, not to, mess with the club when Diamond is kicking out customers, in the back. So she's bribing, the cops. She gives money. She gives money to Mercedes, for example, after her mom, steals her money, basically, like Uncle Clifford feeling bad, for what Mercedes is going through, gives her some money for that, and then hit her business partner is like, we are losing, just too much money out of this club. So she has to raise the rent on the dancers there. So that becomes a thing. So Uncle Clifford helps take care of Mississippi's baby. Like, it takes a village, in this club to take care of this baby. So Uncle Clifford is taking care of the baby when Diamond is not taking care of the baby, when Gidget is not taking care of the baby. Everybody's doing their part for this little baby. So anyway, that's the thing. You find out that also Uncle Clifford was abused. She tells Mississippi that she herself was abused as Mississippi comes in with new bruises on her body, carrying her baby. And Uncle Clifford's like, you need to get out of this. You need to take care of yourself. You can't let this man do this to you. But in the end, Mississippi, gets back in the car with her man then after she gets done dancing in the morning. So I hope this story doesn't end with her in the hospital, at some point. But again, Uncle Clifford is a very, very, very interesting character. And then you got Gidget. So Gidget is one of the dancers. I think she's the only white one there. It's pretty much a black club. You don't get a lot from her in this episode. Before the series started, the news articles on the show said that Gidget was like a second generation, dancer. She really sees no shame in what she does. She's proud of what she does. She's a hard worker. She's a good friend. But again, you will see that in this show as she's helping taking care of Mississippi's baby. She's asking Autumn Night if she needs a ride home. You know what I'm saying? And they're really trying to work that out. So I thought that was kind of cool. Andre Watkins. Andre Watkins is a character, a guy who I think is a cop. He'll surely end up being a cop. But anyway, you see him taking pictures at the club in the daytime and at night from a distance. So one night he meets Autumn when she runs out the club after being accosted by some of the customers in the VIP room, and Diamond had to come in and help her, and she's hyperventilating, and as she's dealing with what just happened, she's like again reliving the abuse of her boyfriend or whatever. So you see that going through her mind. And anyway, Andre comes to see her, sees how she is, introduces himself. She asks him, what you doing there? He claims to be a photographer for a real estate agency, but he's taking pictures in the middle of the night. So that don't make no damn sense. But somehow she believes him. They flirt a little bit, so this may be something later on. But he takes pictures of two people who working at the club taking bags out of a garbage truck earlier in the day of the episode. So I'm pretty sure he's a cop and there's something like mysterious going on, probably drug related at this club. which doesn't make sense. I mean, if Uncle Clifford's partner is running drugs out of the club, how is the club so in debt? I mean, Uncle Clifford is like took out equity loan on the club, and he can't make the payments because he don't have enough money. So if there is drugs being sold, who's selling the drugs? Where's the drug money going? Because it's not going to the club. All right. But again, maybe more than likely, Andre, Watkins, and Autumn Night will be lovers at some point, I would imagine. And so we'll see how that develops if I'm right. And then finally, the last character I like to talk about that we saw was Lil Murder. He is a amateur hip hop artist. He has a crew, some kind of, entourage that rides with him, and he's trying to act like he's a big man. Apparently, he wants to act like he has a bag full of money. So he puts, so one of his partners takes styrofoam and pours tea on it to make it feel heavier than what it is. And then they put stacks of ones on top of it. It's a thing. Anyway, so when Lil Murder and his crew get inside the club, he sees, Autumn Night, and, he's like, ooh, who's that light-skinned girl over there? She looks like Beyonce. This upsets Mercedes because she's trying to work the club for the high rollers like Lil Murder. But seeing an opportunity because Lil Murder basically says he wants, Autumn over her. So then Mercedes gets Autumn gets Autumn Night and says, hey, we can do like a show for the guys in the back or whatever. So they work that out. So basically Autumn negotiates $1,000 for each one of them. And I think really when she talked to Lil Murder, she negotiated $4,000. But when she told Autumn about it, she told Autumn it was only $2,000, one for each of them. So I guess Mercedes walked away with about $3,000 and Autumn only got one. And so anyway, let's get back to Lil Murder real quick. So you see him like balling with the strippers, and like he takes Mercedes Sundays to a VIP room, a very, very private room. And so you think something's gonna go down, but he's just in there trying to get her to listen to his music. You know what I'm saying? He's truly an up and coming rapper to the point that he's trying to get the head dancer to get his music played. And she's like, no, this music is garbage and I'm not dancing to this. So then Lil Murder has sex with Uncle Clifford to get his music played. And Uncle Clifford goes to the DJ. DJ Never Scared is the DJ's name. And the DJ plays Lil Murder's single, I guess, while Mercedes was dancing, and Mercedes wasn't trying to hear that shit, and she looked at the DJ when she was about to start a dance, and the DJ quickly changed the song to what Mercedes wanted, clearly showing you that Mercedes runs this club. But that being said, she's trying to retire. She's at the top of the game, if you will. Like, she sees that Autumn Night is a threat. So you're going to deal with that kind of like, old school, new school type of thing, where, like she has to, Uncle Clifford wants Mercedes to teach Autumn Night how to dance, how to work the room, that sort of thing. And so they're going to have some kind of like frenemy relationship for a while, I would imagine. Then at some point, they're probably going to become allies at some point. And then more than likely at some point, Autumn Night will, take her place as the throne of this club, and then Mercedes will ride off into the sunset doing whatever she's gonna do, because she just feels like her time is up. So I don't know how old Autumn Night is, or Lakeisha Savage, again, is probably her real name. I don't know. Oh, to names. So Autumn Night / Lakeisha Savage told Andre that her name was Haley. So I'm like, why is she lying to this dude? Or is her name truly Haley? And if so, then who is Lakeisha Savage? Like, I thought that was her because she had the ID. I thought that was kind of weird. To get back to Autumn Night before we close out, Autumn Night likely has a daughter. Lakeisha Savage likely has a daughter because she was drinking in her room. She has a one bedroom like apartment with a mattress on the floor. She's drinking and she's trying to forget about her problems and stuff like that. And she's looking at a smartphone with a picture of a little girl on it. She drops alcohol on the phone and then it fries and she can't open it. And she like freaks out that she can't see this little girl. So I'm assuming as her story develops, we'll understand who the man was that was beating her and put a gun to her head. We'll understand who the little girl was. Did both of them die in the flood? Did the daughter die in the flood and she's running from the boyfriend or whatever? Maybe that's her husband. We don't know. So I'm sure that's going to be a backstory that will develop over time. Mississippi, in her terrible situation, 2 kids, abusive husband, boyfriend or whatever. How's that going to develop over time? Gidget, I guess we'll understand where her pain is. Everyone in this story has pain. And what is Gidget's, hang up? What's she dealing with? So we got to talk about that. Characters not identified yet, which were mentioned, which will be Loretta Devine's character. She's Uncle Clifford's grandma. Supposedly she's blind, and she's the former owner of Pink, the strip club. So she hasn't come in yet. Isaiah Washington plays the mayor of this town, and we haven't seen him yet. So we gotta wait and see what happens with that character. But anyway, this is a great show. It really has a lot of drama. As you can see, a lot of different characters, probably a lot of little subplots going on with this thing. And I think it's a great show. Well acted. All the actors are committed to their role. Even Diamond, aka Benny, who don't act that well on the Have and Have Nots, but he's doing well. He's doing okay in this show. He has a bad Southern accent, to be honest. So we'll see if that. Hopefully that'll work out after this pilot episode. So again, Diamond being Benny on the Have and Have Nots. I like to point out that the bartender in this show was also in the Have and Have Nots. She played Q's sister, and she went to jail, and she ran into Veronica and stuff. There's a whole lot of things going on. But I noticed that's 2 actors from a Tyler Perry show. This show was made by the Georgia studio, so it's likely shot somewhere in Atlanta at some point. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be interesting to see how many more Tyler Perry actors end up on this show. I don't know the relationship between the creator of the show and Tyler Perry, but 2 actors from a Tyler Perry show is too much of a coincidence to say something's not there. But anyway, that's the video. Are you going to watch that first episode? Please let us know in the comments. Was this a good review? After you see the episode, did anybody else watch the advanced screening? What did you think of it? I'm committed to the show. I'll watch all 8 episodes. We will review all 8 episodes when the official episode 1 is put out on Power. Based on your comments, if you want me to, I'll do a panel discussion on the episode. And if you want to do a panel discussion on the first episode, please email me, let me know. We can work that out. Nikki Live, I'm pretty sure she'll want to be a part of it. Maybe Stacey Land wants to be a part of it. But anybody else, you want to join in July when the first episode comes out, let me know. We can talk about it, we'll record it, and we'll do it all over again. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again.